And welcome to Aussie Scale Modeller. Jace here. Glad to have your company once again. Good little brew out of the old Modellers Island cup there. Thanks again, John. Hey, welcome to the channel, guys. Fantastic. Great episode coming up. First off, if you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. It's much appreciated. To those that have subscribed already, thank you so much. Very, very much appreciated. Okay. Well, as usual, got to do the big thanks to John from modellers-island.com.au and Braden from outlawpaints.com.au and also Daryl from Gundam Plus. I know how many weeks have been waiting for Daryl. The poor guy is snowed under. We're supposed to get it done Saturday, but we didn't get it done. Got some great little goodies from John, so I'll be showing them next week's episode. Braden still waiting on the release of those very special themed paints, let's call them, and yeah, can't wait for those. So also, guys, that's when I'll be doing more spoons with a few more of the paints there, showing you great quality outlaw paints. Rightio, this week's episode I have John and Mary from Brunel Hobbies. Haven't touched on much train stuff. These two people are sensational, so please look, consider it like the Australian story but on the ABC, but the Australian model story. All these people, they all come from everywhere and made little hobby shops and model shops and all the stuff that we get to go and buy in these tough times, and even in the good times, the people you can walk into and you just feel like home when you walk in there. And pretty much if you've got teenagers, you walk out with not much either because you just spent it there. Just also, I don't know if you follow Facebook, but the North Queensland Scale Modellers up there in Townsville had their expo this weekend. I've got some great footage and it'll be premiering Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. So if you are part of the club or if you really want to see some great modelling, they had a great expo up there the weekend. Congratulations to everybody, and I mean everybody that put it together. Well done, guys. So look out for that. 6 o'clock, Wednesday night, be there. Okay, well, I think this interview is a rather little long one, so I'll stop talking and we'll get on with it. Catch ya. Well, good morning, John and Mary from the magical world of Brunel Hobbies, and welcome to Aussie Scale Modeller.
Thank you very much, Jason.
This has been a long time coming and very much anticipated. Guys, could either of you share how long you've been into modelling and what's your first recollection of it?
Well, I can start because mine's really short. And, back in 1970 something. Anyway, I was in that. I don't think very long. Long time ago, John and I went for a holiday up in the Broad Beach in Queensland, and we were staying at the casino down there. And every day we walked past this hobby shop, and John said, "Oh, I used to be into model trains, and I really like it." And I said, "Well, I like building things, so if you want to do trains, I'll do some building." So that's what happened. And then when we came back to Melbourne, we started getting involved. Having said that, John was doing it from when he was a kid before, but he had stopped for quite a while.
Okay.
And we started doing a bit of that, and we were both working full-time jobs elsewhere. And then I started doing a bit of things to do with buildings and things, and just fucking around really. And John was a bit more serious. And then, long story short, we went to the UK a few times, and John was really hooked on the broad gauge railways, as in Brunel's broad gauge. And so we went on nearly every train there was. We went to railway museums. We never went to an art gallery, and my mother was really cross. But anyway, except for the tape. But anyway, we went and did all those things, and we really had a good time. It was great fun, and we joined the Broad Gauge Society and the Great Western Society.
Wow.
The Electronic Railway Group, and anyway, we went back to the UK quite a few times, and I ended up being the treasurer for a couple of the groups in the UK that have been members here. So just collected all the membership money from Australia and New Zealand and sent it on in one hit rather than them doing it from there. So we've sort of been involved since the 80s, really.
Wow.
And then in about 1995 or so, John decided, oh, we should get a business name, Brunel Models. And so we went and registered that. And then sometime later, a friend came up to me and he said, look, I'm doing my layout and I need some tortoise point motors. And there's a guy who's distributing them, but he's not allowed to sell retail. But you've got a business name, you could buy some from him and then I could buy them from you. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And that's where it all started.
Oh, wow.
And
So it started in 1995.
Yep, pretty much. And then in 1999, I got a package from the government, and my mother needed some help because my father had passed away a few years earlier. And I thought I'll stay home and I'll do some stuff from home. And part of that, I started doing the model railway business under Brunel Models, and I started selling these tortoise point motors. And then the guy who was the distributor got online and with a lady in the US and decided to have a look and see what she was like. And he decided to go over there and marry her, and I took over his business.
Okay.
So then we started going to model railway shows as well. And then it was a bit hard trying to do everything from home because I started building up a few more products. And after that, I said to John, oh, we should make a little room in the garage and people could come and have a look in the garage rather than from the house. And he said, that's a good idea. So we did all that. And about 6 months later, he says, I've got a good idea. I'm going to chuck you out of the garage. I want a laser cutter and we're going to put it in there. And guess what? That's what happened. So then I said to him, look, there's only we've got two choices. One is to start the business from a shop or forget it. And he said, oh, I don't want a shop. And I said, I'll do the shop. So, yes, so he's still involved a bit. At that stage, very little, but, and he was working full time, that's right. But in the last few years, he's helped an awful lot. So it's been a little bit. So
Always good to have a good spine behind you.
And anyway, so when we opened the shop, we made a Brunel Hobbies. So we still own Brunel Models and we use that for products we make. And I'll let John. So he can tell you a bit about the products we make under Brunel Models. And so when we decided to have the shop, we decided to have all hobbies, not just trains. And I knew nothing about planes, tanks, anything.
Nothing military.
I thought Mitsubishi only made cars. So
okay, no, actually the
history I've learned a lot. And that was 14 years ago. So I've learned an awful lot. Now I know a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah, there was a little thing a few years back called World War II. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
Oh, I knew about that, but I didn't know who.
Yeah,
I
it was just a little glitch in the world, and
by what country or anything. I was just totally ignorant. Yeah.
The Japanese had a little plane called the Mitsubishi Zero. So yeah.
Oh, look, I know now.
All right, John. All right, mate.
Yep.
So we know that Brunel Hobbies came into existence in the year 2000 there. So, John, I'm going with just at a guess, your preferred genre in the hobby would be trains.
Yes, I started doing that about 1958, something like that. We used to, with my cousin, who's deceased unfortunately, also a railway modeler, we used to go into the model dockyard and Burns Hobbies and Tim the Toyman and all those names that are now pretty distant memories, except for one of them. And we built our own stuff. We didn't have a lot of money in those days. I think it was about, in the old money, as we call it, about 2 and 6pence a length of track or something.
Wow.
If you want to equate that to modern money, it's, wow, it must be about $20 or more.
Yeah, back in the early 70s, I remember getting a Lima, the Bullet train set. But before that, when I was born and everything, there was some sort of celebration going on, and I was given an original Hornby, big Hornby set, and that was stolen from us in 1978 or something. Yeah, all never used, still in the box, immaculate condition, bought from the UK. So I don't know what that'd be worth these days, but it's good with the channel, and I've done a lot of different things, your cars, your boats, your planes, but the trains I haven't been able to touch on just yet. And thank you very much again for all this. How big's the train scene in, like, say, Victoria?
Well, it's pretty big, really. There's a number of specialist groups, fine scale groups. Gage O'Gill from the UK makes, this is all O scale. There's a British group that do British prototype. There's the Australian
Modern Railway Association.
they're Emma.
Yeah.
They're fairly large, they've got their own clubhouse and so on. Same as up there, I presume.
Yeah,
Nationwide. So there's a
Oh,
few
there's
of
still
these
more,
groups.
yeah.
There's a few of these groups around, plus
Yeah,
the preserved railway scene, which that's a combination. But the problem is exhibitions. We haven't, except for Diamond Valley, we've had one last year.
yeah.
Or this year, sorry, January, wasn't it?
No, Easter.
Last years would have been a bit hard.
Yeah.
You know, we locked up for so long, you go sort of stir crazy.
Yep.
But that's the only one that's been held for 2 years pretty well now.
Yeah, I mean, the light is coming at the end of the tunnel, hopefully, so to speak, in a train world. But with the store, so you've got the trains.
Sorry?
With all the with the store itself, so you've got a lot of train, like you've got a lot of train stuff. But what else is in the store?
Oh, in the store, there's also a lot of plastic kits and slot cars and some wooden ship kits when we can get them. They've been a bit few and far between, but they Artesania stopped making them, and then there was a lull for about a year and a half, but now they've come back on board. Billings stopped making some because they were redoing all the instructions and things. But yes, so there's all those, and do a lot of got an awful lot of paint, and we sell paint everywhere, send it all over Australia, and we've got different brands like Mr. Hobby and Tamiya and Humboldt and Revell, and all the finishing materials, all the masking tapes and the sanding and the fillers and the spray paints and the, but pretty much everything Mr. Hobby has I've got. Oh, and Gundam figures, I didn't mention them, and airbrushing and
Wow.
that's
So you've got a website?
all sort of, oh, it's a big variety, and we've got all the you know, the hecky grasses and things for the woodland scenics. But we don't have radio control, we've got very little die casting.
Okay, but so you've got a website?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what's the website?
www.brunelhobbies.com.au.
Facebook?
Yeah, but we won't go there. No, Facebook, no. Well, there is one, but it's got, we started the Facebook page when Facebook started having shops on there.
Yep.
And it kind of doesn't work properly.
Okay, no worries.
And we don't use that much, but we've got an eBay store as well.
Okay.
And we've got a Wix, what is it, a Brunel Models website as well, which is the products that we make, and that's got a shopping cart. And we've got a form of our website where you can fill it in and send us things, or you can email us, or we're also very old fashioned and we do everything over the phone as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't thank you enough. Like when I first contacted you a few weeks or months ago, just the friendliness. And I mean, you went through that person that tried to go through your store and purchase things without going through the front door in August. So, yeah, that was a bit rough, but you're back up and running. Hey, what's looking ahead for Brunel Hobbies, and any new kits, new announcements?
Well, you should just say something.
Oh, John's gone.
John's going to go and get something that he's working on.
Okay, very good.
I'll quickly put because we didn't mention, well, I thought John was going to mention Brunel model. So we've been, he got the laser cutter back in the 1990s, and we started off making track aligners so that you can align your track. So you get your flexi track and you can make your curves to whatever curve you want.
Yep.
Like instead of buying the set track in the radius 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got those, but we've got other radii as well. And then we made some tool, a model mate, which a construction jig thing, and tool holders and all that sort of stuff. And then later on, he started making wooden kits for Puffin Billy, for NBB and coaches. And then he went on to another one, which is an NAB. Yep. And then in the last couple of years, he's got onto 3D printing, and he's got a couple of things to show you in a minute.
Oh, fantastic. I'm actually with all our grandchildren, but I've got one grandchild, and in particular, he's 5, and he's got a little bit of autism, but he loves trains. He is train mad, and it's good that I'm a modeler, but not much. I'm into it, but I'm not into it, and I'm trying to get hold of an N-gauge set for him. He's mad into Thomas and all that. He can, by the age of 4, he could name every single engine and carriage in the Thomas. So with that part of his autism, he's got that recollection. So trying to get him a little N-gauge set. So I'm guessing you guys are the people.
Yeah. The other thing is that while he's doing that, I've been making some back scenes for the model railway. So the pictures you put behind the layout.
Yep.
And we're sort of fairly heavily into photography, and especially landscape photography, and we do a lot of travel and some wonderful places to go and take pictures. But anyway, getting back to this, I've done a lot of landscape, especially from Victoria, and I make them. I've got some standard ones which are 23 centimeters high and 1 meter long.
Yep.
And then I also make long ones which are up to 400 high, 40 centimeters high, and as long as you want. And I custom make them and Photoshop them and blend them together and whatever else. And the longest one I've done is 14 meters.
Wow.
And my lovely husband, he's the one who does the wiggle printer here, and he does the printing. So it's all done in-house.
Oh, welcome back, John. Welcome back.
I'm all in favour of Australian made.
Well, mate, that's what we're doing this for.
We stick the flag on everything.
That's it, mate. Absolutely. So what do we got here, mate? What are you going to show me?
Well, I started doing HO, as probably everybody else did in OO originally, in the days of about all you could buy. But then I threw all that away some years ago and went to O. So I've been doing O Puffin Billy and O Broad Victorian Railways prototype.
Yep.
So as part of that, this is here, which I might be able to.
You need to lift it up a bit, mate. Yep.
That's the water tower.
Wow.
And that's 3D printed.
Wow, mate. Magic. Yep. Yep. Nice and clear there. Yep.
So you can see that.
Yep.
Complete with the base.
And that's an O scale.
That's an O scale one.
But we make it an HO as well.
Here's HO for you.
Wow. Bit of a difference.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Looks like a little trophy cup.
That's right. Yeah. They're amazing. There's a couple
called
of
the parachute thing.
Oh well, yeah, B2. It's there's one at St Arnaud, but they've stripped all all the bits off it. So I don't know. It's crazy. In Victoria, it's nowhere near as good as New South Wales. Do underframes for coaches. There's some underframes for Puffin Billy.
Wow, mate.
You know, so that's printed totally with cylinders, some rigging, everything.
Wow. I mean, yeah, this world of 3D printing is just going somewhere next level.
Yeah, that just sits on top of that. And this is to show you what you really can do if I get around the right way. That does help. What we've got, so you can see that just screws on the base of
Okay.
coach, and that's a louver van. It's a puffing belly one, but the broad gauge one, the 5'3" one, is just wider. It's exactly the same, and that's 3D printed as well.
That's amazing.
See all the louvers in it. These can't be injection molded.
No.
And
That's
it's
amazing.
even got the door handle and all the mechanism on the side there.
So, I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you could just go into creating doors and putting hinges on them. And
Well, you can see that there. You can see
it's
the
just amazing.
door handle. So that's been done, but I'm aiming for the top end of the market in a sense with this, with detail and everything.
Yep.
These are wooden. This is a puffing billy again. It's an NC, as they call it.
Yeah, just hold it there, mate. Yep. Beautiful.
And it's got door handles,
Windows.
railings, the lamps, windows, a lot. That's about to be released as a kit, but we've been held up because of COVID, unfortunately.
Yep.
But all those door handles, the little gold ones there, and all those railings down the side are all 3D printed.
Wow. So you can put LEDs inside of that?
Oh, yes. This is, just to give you an idea, this is a broad gauge, Victorian Railways Z-van top. And that's laser cut. So I do a lot of laser cutting and mix it with 3D printing.
Wow, mate, that's great.
To do. So, yeah, the advantage of all this, of course, is we can do all the variants.
Yep.
So you can just do whatever anybody wants.
That's
Yeah,
just
Richard
amazing. So
Peter-
they just need to call you or call the store or...
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that's that, and it gives you an idea. I'll bring the other one over. Probably not. I had the wooden one here. Give you an idea of what they look like. I don't get it. You can chop the bits out.
Wow, you've got a lot of skill there, Mary, a lot of skill.
Do all sorts of things. We're very inventive. Oh, you got to bring we haven't got a corrugator on that.
Yeah, so that's how they fit. There's a bigger coach. That's an NBB, an NAB
Okay,
coach. So that's just the outside as you build it. It's just like that.
unreal.
And then the inside is with all the partitions and so on.
Wow.
And that just slides inside that one.
Yep.
You just slide the glass and the drop lights in. So you can paint them all separately.
Wow, that's just amazing. That is
Which
great
makes
stuff.
it much easier to do. So that's the idea of that. What else about here? Oh, yes, to show you what 3D printing can do. I've actually done some torpedo vents. You know what they are?
Yep.
These are I don't know if you ever see it, but that's a torpedo vent
Yep.
in scale, and you can actually see through it.
Wow.
So it's much better than a casting. You can actually see the little ring around it. You know,
Yep.
what do you want to call it?
You just
Around
sit it on
the
the tip of your
outside.
finger, mate. If you just sit it on the tip of your thumb or your finger, keep coming, keep coming.
Let's see if I do that.
There we go. That's what we're after. That's it. Wow, mate. That's awesome.
So that's something. We've done an experiment with another friend of mine. We've done some S-scale engines. So we've got the whole chassis is 3D printed.
Wow.
We don't have any X chassis at all. And just trying them out, they've been running really well. And I'm just doing an E-class Victorian Railways. It was like head up in Brisbane for suburban traffic.
Okay.
Remember the little tank engines? You might not remember them.
No, mate. I might not remember them ones, but I do remember trams and that, and heading in Sydney and Maroubra and that sort of stuff. So
I remember the trams in Brisbane. There you go.
wow.
But anyway, the little locos. Well, there was an E-class used down here, which for hauling suburban traffic.
Okay.
So I've done the frame. All that's 3D printed. The whole body's 3D printed. Everything. And oh yeah, that's the side of a NBH, an excursion coach.
Wow, mate, credit to you there. Good detail on that.
So yeah, we do all that sort of stuff.
Yep. And we're known for making corrugated iron makers.
Okay.
chap called Luke Cowan, and he's got a video and of using one of our corrugated iron makers to make your scaled corrugated iron. And we've got them in all different scales, and we've been selling them worldwide for well over 10 years now.
Wow. The man's coming back, is he?
Yeah, he'll be back. I'm looking for something else now.
Well, I've got a question for him when he gets back. Oh, while you're there, Mary.
Yep.
So somebody turns up to Brunel Hobbies. They walk through the door. What's the first thing they're seeing there, besides a smile?
Broken window. Well, at the moment, you're not allowed to walk around the shop, so that's going to happen for another month. Hopefully, only another month. And it makes it really difficult, but we do click and collect, and they're allowed to come in the doorway to collect things.
Yep.
We don't make them stand outside in the street like some other shops do. But when you come in, you really see the trains first, and then there's a layout in the shop as well. I've got some pictures of. I took a couple of videos, so there's a picture of the little layout we've got for testing the trains and showing what you can do, and then all the buildings we have, we sell, we get in and do a lot of second-hand sales as well. So
Yep.
we get in estates and people's they've got too much or changed what they're doing, and that's the same with plastic kits too. Get second-hand ones of those too, and buy job lots as well. But you can so you come in the shop, you see the trains, and then see all the counters, and usually they're full of things. Things and bad things. But yeah, it's just busy shop, and we're here to help people, so we're going very friendly, ask questions, try and help them, and if we haven't got whatever it is, we'll get it in for them as well.
I mean, I know when you go into a hobby shop, you want to talk to people that have got some knowledge about what they're selling. They're not just selling stuff they got no idea about. They're enthusiasts, they're modelers, and you sort of meet on the same level. But always, and I understand in any of the hobbies, what you can give to somebody, they can give you something else. So what your method is, somebody else can show you another method, and you just mix them up and match them up. And that's what I think is great about the modeling all over the world. Like, that's what it's about. You're learning all the time. You're learning something new. So, John, if I go into your workshop, and Mary, and I take a tool off your bench, you go back in there, what are you missing?
Obvious sometimes.
What was that, mate?
He said he wouldn't know because there's so much stuff on the bench.
What would you miss mainly? What would be your...
We could take a 3D printer, but we've got more than one.
Yeah, it'd be a bit obvious. I know you both wear glasses like me, but I'd notice that.
Beautiful pair of slippers for taking the supports off.
Yep.
This 3D printing. Actually, I'll show you what I mean.
He's back, he's gone.
I know he's gone.
What about you, Mary? What would you miss?
Oh, probably my computer, really.
Yeah, no, that's a bit of an object. If I steal a computer, you're noticing that. It's not, it is a tool, yes.
I don't know, because I do most of mine using the computer and everything when I do the vaccines and things, and I haven't built anything for a little while. But everything I've built and put in the shop to show people, someone's come along and bought it, insist on buying it.
So she hasn't gotten it.
So I haven't got anything to show at the moment.
Right, what do you got there, John?
That's how they come out of the printer.
Yep. All the supports, yep.
Yeah, so you could turn it around so you can...
No, it's
so there's
that's the under the frame of the coach.
Yep.
And that's how it comes out, and that's what you pair of slippers.
So you'd miss
These
them.
are single edge. They've got a flat side and a sharp side on those slippers, and they're flat on the bottom. They're quite thin.
Yep.
And they're very good for taking all that off. So I certainly miss that.
So is that resin or is it filament, mate?
That's resin.
Oh no, that's a resin printer, high-end resin printer.
Okay. The Anycubic?
Sorry?
Is it the Anycubic?
No, it's Formlabs.
Okay, yeah, righto, cool.
Yeah, Formlabs, an American firm.
Yep.
Very well supported, well, at least in Melbourne. I know the mob that sell them in Sydney,
Yep.
They're nice as well.
and they've been incredibly supportive with anything that goes wrong. Something, you know, they've replaced things. They said, "Oh, I'll send you another tray or whatever it requires."
Wow. That's
They've
good
been very
support.
good. And they've run stuff off on different machines for me.
Very good.
Just try them out. So we're just working together on a new machine. It's called a fuse, but it's a powder. So
Okay.
it's got a container full of powder, and it flashes a point within the powder, and then hardens it. So when you
Okay.
get the object out, there's no support structure.
Wow. I
And
was
that's-
watching something the other day, this crazy guy on YouTube, and he's a mad resin printer, and there's a ceramic that you can use in resin nowadays as well.
Yep. You've got titanium even,
Yeah.
if you can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. I checked the back pocket. I couldn't afford a rock.
Well, it's look, the fuse is, I think it was $40,000.
Wow.
And it produces a surface that is slightly rough. But I've done some prototype work, you know, run some through it, and it's come out really very well. So the question is, what can they do next, I suppose?
Yeah. I
Well, we
mean, the
have
world's
these-
turning quick.
As you probably understand, these have no marks on them. These are like plastic injection molded.
Wow.
See, that's a, oh, sorry, yeah, that was.
Stop go. Yep. Traffic. Yep. Train crossing.
Like that.
Yeah, that's a signal. That's
Yep.
the crossing. Yeah.
Yep.
It's designed to put 3mm LEDs in it.
Wow. That's
I've
incredible.
done some of those in S scale, but I haven't done any in HO, but I could.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's just one thing. See, that's again not possible to do injection molded.
No. That's
And,
just brilliant, mate. Right,
but,
guys. Well,
filament
I have to
has
say,
striations through it.
what's that, mate?
But
Oh,
the filament
the
ones.
filament ones are FDMs, which might be really good for doing a chassis where you're not going to worry about it.
Mm.
But they do get lines through it, so I can actually see through it.
Well, next week, I've got an interview with a guy from Full Bore Models, and he does resin kits, but he does Australian resin kits. He's got a HK, like all Holden kits, and they're actually boxed kits. And he's just coming in the market. He's got 350 Chevs. He's got all Holden red motors, Ford stuff, and he's got a new kit coming out, which I can't mention, but it's specifically Australian auto stuff, and it's all resin. And you just look at it and you just go, wow, how did you create that? So,
That 3D printed?
yep, all 3D resin,
And what scale?
124.
Excellent.
And
That's what it's really good at.
yeah, and he's
And you
like doors
press-
open, like original HK GDS Monaro dashes. Like everything is just perfect. So I'll be sharing that with everybody again next week, but I can't wait for that. But you guys, thanks for your time. It's been fantastic. I finally get to see your smiling faces. Anything before we go that you'd like to share or say or let anybody know about?
Yeah, I've had a very long journey in model railways, I must say, most of my life. But it's culminated in all this, and Mary didn't mention it, but the mix we've got in the shop, we do a lot of second-hand as well.
Yep.
And with the problems which we did mention earlier with COVID and problems with China and all sorts of things are making product availability a real problem. And now the US Postal Service is not sending anything to Australia.
No, they're not.
This week.
So these are sort of issues you're starting to grapple with, and so are the wholesalers, of course. So
Yeah, I mentioned in a few videos back with John from Modelers Island, the whole, like people get, oh, you know, we're out of stock, but, and they have a go at the store, but then they forget, well, the wholesalers can't get the product. And so it goes all the way to the top, and people are attacking, you know, the bottom end of it, not knowing, you know, looking at the top where it all starts. So, I mean, I think just as I explained to people, please be patient, because you guys can't, you know, make things turn up out of thin air. And it's hard on you guys as it is with doors closed, even though it's click and collect, but You guys are just like any other people. You run a business or you do a job, and be a bit patient, be a bit kinder.
Well, yeah, and I think we haven't seen the full impact of this.
No, not yet.
It's that, well, as you're probably aware, chip manufacturer, that's electronic chips.
Yeah, huge.
It's an issue. NCE's got that issue. I presume Digitrax probably does. That's going to happen right across everything.
Yep.
It's happened with cars. Toyota's down to 40% production.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at alternatives. So I'm just playing around. I'm just using a Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
In other words, use that an Arduino and a Raspberry Pi.
Yes, I do.
I'm just flashing the boot SD card.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Your brain must be full of things.
Maybe,
Your brain must be exploding, mate.
Oh, yes.
no, I'm all over. Yeah, no, I'm not. I love
We're
it.
into all sorts of things, that's right. Yeah.
But no, in
We love
reality,
technology, so we're good at that.
I think that might help people because the price of things like NCE's got power cap, wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
gone up
To $400.
$400.
For a start.
Wow.
It used to be 200.
Wow. Oh, that's like graphics cards.
Oh, graphics cards. I had to buy a new one for this thing. That cost me a bloody fortune. And not only that, it's because all the ones that might have been suitable cheaper are all gone, all sold out, no chips.
Yep. Mining. Yeah.
It goes
But-
on and on.
It's and
Factors.
with your was it your wooden stuff, your laser printing, I might have to hit you up for a 1/48 scale, hanger number 4 from the Battle of Britain, Duxford Airfield.
Oh, I've been there.
We
Yeah.
went there.
That's my dream, to go back in time and fly in the Battle of Britain. That'd be
Well, I've done.
I bought him Flight Simulator for his birthday, the latest one.
I got it too.
And then he had to get the new graphics card. And then he's got the other bits he just got recently to the controls.
Control column.
Oh, you got your yoke and your
Yeah.
oh mate, see, whoever says we have to grow up. We can get
we
old,
don't.
but we don't have to grow up.
Oh no, no,
Oh,
I'm not. No, my body might be.
That's right, yeah. Just reactions, yeah.
Fine.
The brains
I mean,
are still working.
I think if I was a pilot nowadays, the last thing people want to hear from my voice is this is your captain speaking. So it's not good from there.
Reminds me of a flight where we're going to the US years ago. We left New Zealand. I think it was in New Zealand actually. I should say that. But anyway, and the bloke got on, the captain got on and said, "Welcome aboard flight number so and so from Auckland to," and then it click. I said to Mary, "I bloody well hope he knows where he's going."
Well, guys, hey, it's been a privilege, John and Mary. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's great to have your company today. And as I always say, it's all good. Bye now.
Yep. Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Wow, how good was that? John and Mary, fantastic. Thanks, guys. You are incredible. Really, really appreciated your time today. And thanks for the great service you do, not only for the trainees in the country, but hobbies across the board. Really, really do appreciate it. And look, I've got a 5-year-old grandson, and I think we spoke about it, but he loves his train. He's a little mad train nut. So I get him a little N-Gage, and it'll be coming from Brunel Hobbies. So visit them up there, www.brunelhobbies.com. Make sure you guys go visit them. And thanks for the signage on its way, John, Mary, appreciate it. It'll be proudly displayed up there above the old Modelers Island. And don't forget, guys, if you're looking for 10% off, go to Modelers, www.modelers-island.com.au and use ASM10 as your code, and that gets you 10% off. Also, don't forget, Braden Outlaw Paints, next Sunday's episode, it's a bomb. It is going to be unbelievable. In conjunction with the release of Braden's new paints, got Andrew from Full Ball Models. Go and check him out on Facebook or the website. That's FULBORE Models. Go and check him out. It's unbelievable. Australians celebrate. We've got Aussie cars, guys, in kit form. 124, absolutely brilliant. Okay, before I forget, somebody actually got very close to guessing for the right Parramatta player. So keep on guessing, guys. Thanks for the comments, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Also, heading closer to 300, so that F111 is on its way to some lucky viewer that subscribes. So thank you very much. So just go ahead there. Where do we go? Hang on. We'll go. Hit the like and subscribe down there. That's right. And yeah, be in the running for the F111. Great kit. Also sponsored and from Modelers Island there. So folks, make sure, and also the great sponsors for expos and that around the country, get behind them, guys. Support them. They're supporting our hobbies. And if you're new to it, make sure you support your local hobby store. Righto, guys. Well, that's it from me. That's it. And as I say, it's all good. Catch you later. Cheers.